David.
Hello. Hello, everyone.
All right. We are at it again. Woohoo! Another week.
Good evening. Good evening.
Let's talk procrastination. I'm ready.
Procrastination. Hello, everybody out there. And welcome. Thank you, Loretta. I mean, it's great to be on the Positive Entrepreneurs Group, and it's great to be here. And we're talking procrastination. Do you have any stories of recent yourself, Loretta?
Yeah, I wish I could turn my laptop around now so you can see my wall to the left. Where it's just like I've put off these things. And I mean 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I put off these 7 things. And I'm like, okay, I need to get it done. What's one thing? Okay, write it down. Let me at least write it down so I have it. Okay, now I'm going to prioritize it because David said to prioritize. So I'm prioritizing. And I'm like, okay, what's the biggest one? Let me do that one first.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm working on now is the biggest one. The biggest
brilliant.
thing on my to-do list.
Yeah, brilliant. And it's something that, you know, when we get things done, it does. Of course, it matters, but also it makes us feel good. And I think when we feel good, we want to take more action. And I think the greatest thing that we can think about on our deathbed is regret, just not having taken the opportunity. Oh, by the way, I wanted to tell you that I watched a movie tonight on Disney Plus, and it's called Soul, S-O-U-L.
I've seen that. That's a really good movie.
Really good movie.
Really good.
And it's all about, and it's all about life, isn't it? And taking the chances you've been given. And if anybody out there has not seen Soul, S-O-U-L, it's an animation, but it's a really sophisticated animation. It's brilliant, set in New York. And I watched it and I thought, wow, you know, you can defeat procrastination by just watching that movie. You know, you can
absolutely.
You can wake up. And I was just thinking that for anyone out there who's running a business who or has relationship trouble or something in their life, body, exercise, something that they want to accomplish, but you're not doing it because you are thinking thoughts which are stopping you from doing it. It's like chaining yourself. And I wanted to again mention the 5 types of procrastinator, which if you guys haven't heard it before, there's 5 different types. And the first one is the chicken. And the chicken has too much going on, so they're running around the yard like a headless chicken, and they don't know where to start. So what do? They just keep on running around the yard without any sort of plan of action. So that's the first type of procrastinator. And the second type is the ostrich, which is they see what they've got to do, and then they're like that, and they just literally bury their head in the sand and do nothing. So whilst I go through these 5 types, I just wanted to think about which one are you, and maybe ask your friends after you watch the video. The third type is the daredevil, which is they wait for their adrenaline rush right till the end, right till the last moment. So when I was a student, I used to wait till the last moment to do the revision for the exams. And some people just wait for that moment where they feel, now I'm going to do it, because it's like a rush for them. And sometimes they win the game, sometimes they don't. But in business...
David, I can share with you about how I actually used to do the same thing. Like when I was in school, especially for like my bachelor's degree and my master's degree, I told myself that I actually performed better under pressure. So that was
mm,
the excuse that I used to use to wait
right,
until like the day the assignment was due to actually do it,
right,
putting
right.
myself under unnecessary pressure and
Okay.
stress.
So, so are you saying that there was a belief in your blueprint saying, I will perform better if I'm under pressure? Right. Okay. And do you think that belief is common? Do you think it's a common belief within? Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Especially
Yeah.
people who are in school or people who just have been under or maybe under pressure all the time. It's a consistency,
Mm,
right?
mm,
But I think that that's definitely common. I've talked to other students, I've talked to other people, other entrepreneurs who are like, yeah, I work
mm,
better under pressure. No,
mm,
you just push
mm.
yourself harder under pressure.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Stress
I do.
yourself out more.
Yeah, I do believe that a nice balance is necessary because if something is has more urgency to it, we take action. But why not create that urgency a few weeks earlier than we normally would have? You know, not the night before, because then it becomes pressure, and we've all done it, absolutely, and we do it sometimes intentionally, sometimes we've forgotten and it's accident, but we still do it, and yeah, what can we do to overcome that? The fourth type of procrastinator is the perfectionist. So the perfectionist, it's never good enough. It's never ready. I've got to do I've got to get it perfectly done before I present it. So it could be someone out there who wants to do an online program. They've got an online course they want to put out there, but it's got to be perfect. The copy's got to be perfect. The perfect photos in there. It's got the layout has to be perfect. No, just get the darn thing out there and start selling it because people want the information. And I was speaking to someone recently who was telling me that the psychology of websites. It used to be the design of the website was paramount. Get it? It's got to look perfect before anyone sees it. But the question should be, what is the function of your website? What's the function? Is it to get people to buy something for you or to call you? So it should be around the functionality, because you know it's if you look at Amazon, it's not a great looking website. It just does its function, you know, and that's the key. So think about that, perfectionist, and the fifth one really is the saboteur, which is the person who's self-sabotaging for an emotional reason. They put things off because they want to sabotage a part of their life. So it could be a relationship. They fear that they're not good enough, or they fear that they're going to be left or dumped at a later date. So they start sabotaging it anyway because they're fearing something, fearing being left, fearing the relationship's going to fail. So when we have an emotion attached we want to avoid, we'll sabotage something. Um, and that could be procrastination. Procrastination. So those are the five types. I'll go through them again: the chicken, the ostrich, the daredevil, and the perfectionist, and finally the self-saboteur. So which one are you? If you think about this, you could be more than one as well. So the key is really to identify that, yeah, you're a procrastinator. But the next step really is what we've been saying in these trainings is don't beat yourself up about it. We don't need to, because the minute you do that, you're bringing in negative energy, negative vibes into your business, negative energy into your life. Why would you want to do that? Um, Sometimes, as I said before, we wouldn't talk to our dog the way we talk to ourselves. But you don't need to do that. What we need to do is forgive ourselves. And science has found out, I mentioned it last week, I think, that forgiveness has been found as one particular strategy that we can use to overcome procrastination, just to forgive ourselves and say, it's okay. It's okay. No one's perfect, least of all me, but we have to make the best with what we got and our time and energy. So there's two things I wanted to mention this evening in terms of tips. Um, the first one is these are to overcome procrastination. The first one is accountability or placing a bet. So this could be you speaking to um, a friend or a colleague or someone that you trust and say to them, I will achieve this goal by said date, or I'm going to give you $100 if I don't do it. Now, if we do that, place an importance on something, and we become accountable to someone, that could be one way of actually achieving our goal, because our goals are so important. And you may be thinking, right, I'm not going to give that person $100. I'm going to do it in said time. So it might be that you need to write a chapter of your book, one chapter of your book. So you've told this person, I'm going to write this one chapter in 6 weeks, the next 6 weeks. And you go and do it. Whereas before you would have been thinking about it, and 6 weeks has passed by and you haven't written a sentence. So that gives you accountability, gives you the, for want of a better word, the urgency to go and do it, What do you think of that particular strategy, Loretta?
I think that's really good. And I think that I'm probably going to implement that on my own end. Because like
Great stuff.
I'm currently working on a workbook,
Mm,
a financial workbook, and I find myself pushing it back, making
mm,
excuses. Oh, I'm too tired. Oh, I'll do it tomorrow. And then
mm,
tomorrow, and then tomorrow, and then next thing you know, it's like 2 months, and I'm like, it's still not done. So I
mm.
think doing
Yeah,
that will motivate me. It's definitely a motivator to get it done.
yeah,
Make it a
yeah, definitely.
priority.
Make it a priority, yeah. And when you've got the accountability and you've told someone, even if you, and another way of doing this accountability is to make it public, which is to
Oh.
go onto your Facebook group or to tell people on your Facebook page, I am going to complete one chapter by said date. And that sort of, it puts that little bit of pressure on you, but it's at the beginning of the journey for the goal rather
Mhm.
than at the end. So then you're saying, right, oh, I've got to do it now. I've told everyone. So, and that can be quite a motivator for a lot of people. If you're out there and you find that that's too much to handle, then don't do it. If you think the money thing is going to make you motivate you, then do that. It's these tips aren't specific for one type of person, because remember there are 5 different types of procrastinator. So the tips are can be used for different people for different things. All right. So that's the first one. The second one really is following on the first one, really is chunking time. So our brains like to work solidly for up to 90 minutes, solidly for 90 minutes. But they like to work in that 90-minute framework for 20 to 25-minute segments and then having like a 2 to 5 minute break. So that's the reason why TED Talks are under 20 minutes long. So if you've ever seen a TED Talk, they're usually about 17 minutes long, 17, 8 minutes long, because people's brains get a little bit bored and they start to lose focus. So everyone out there, so in this case, for example, for Loretta, if Loretta's writing a chapter of this book, then Loretta can say, right, okay, that's it. I'm going to do half an hour every Sunday morning between 11 and 11:30. I'm going to do half an hour on the book, you know? So at least Loretta would have been taking action on the book. So, and that is then structured into your Sunday morning, and between 11 and 11:30, no one will disturb you. It's book time to write that. So at least you would have, in that month, will have spent 2 hours on the book. So that's just an example of chunking time that anyone can use at any time. As Loretta says, have smaller time frames to get it done. How does that sound to you, Loretta, in terms of practicality?
I think it's pretty practical. And to be honest with you, I've done that and I found that
Mm,
to be the most successful.
mm,
It's just making sure that I stick to doing the small time frames. Like, okay,
mm,
don't make an excuse about why you can't do 30 minutes. You can do 30 minutes
mm,
or 15 minutes or 45 minutes. So I
mm.
think that that's definitely, but it is something doable, right? Like
Yeah.
if you're really serious about doing something and you really want to get it done and it's important to
Yeah.
you, you've made it a priority.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
definitely practical. So.
Definitely. And in terms of, say, doing a is it going to be a certain amount of chapters in this book, Loretta?
Honestly, there are supposed to be 10 chapters in this workbook.
Mm,
So for me, what caught me up or what kind of like I was stuck on, I guess, is the structure. How was I going to structure this workbook? Looking at other workbooks and looking at other people's, uh, you know, how they have it set up and how they have it structured. And the words are here, the questions are here, the blank page is here, just looking at all of that. That is honestly what made me take forever to even get started is how do I want to structure it?
mm.
So,
Okay. So let's do some live coaching.
oh no.
So how would you find out how to get it structured?
So I just did the research, just looking at other people's books, just looking at their workbook and then saying, okay, this is how their workbook is structured, but I can still do it my own way. Like this is a
Mm,
guideline, this is an outline, but that
mm,
doesn't mean that I have to do it exactly like they
mm,
did theirs or,
mm,
even similar to what they did theirs too. This is just an
mm,
idea. So
mm. Like
mine
as you say,
came from research, just research.
yes. So from research, and
Mhm.
how much do you trust your gut feeling in these occasions?
I would say about 100%.
Okay. Yeah, yeah. So you trust your gut feeling 100%. And I've got to ask you actually, have you done the guidelines? Have you created this framework for the book yet? In terms of what you just said, the guidelines.
Like the outline for it? Yes.
Yeah.
I have created the outline for it, everything that I want in there. And it wasn't anything spectacular. It was just like
Mm.
a regular outline that you would do for a paper or essay that you were writing. That's kind of how
Yes.
I did it for the book. It wasn't,
Yes.
anything grand.
Yeah. Sure. And have you actually started it, or is it something that you're looking to?
Hmm. Yep, I've actually started. I've actually finished the first chapter or lesson. I'm working on the second one now, so I am
Okay.
making
Cool.
progress.
Yeah. Yeah. Brilliant. So the question is, have you worked out a time frame for the book, and then right? Okay. So when can you do that?
I guess tonight, after I'm
Hey,
done talking.
we're live. It's accountable. Yeah.
You're holding me accountable. I see what's happening here.
Yeah. We're putting this in action here. So you would have a
Oh
framework,
man.
a time framework, because when the time meets the energy, it's like the rubber meeting the road. And immediately you'll just sort of take action, consistent action. But when you've got the driver, which is you driving the car, and then you've got the
Hmm.
passenger, which is the viewer watching this, knowing that you're now accountable.
Oh boy.
how will you how will you feel when you've completed the book?
Honestly, I think I'll feel pretty good. I'll feel pretty accomplished. I know that this is something huge for me. It's another source of income for my business. It is
Mm,
something that another tool, but this
mm,
is personal because it's a tool that I created and put together to help people reach their financial goals. So
mm,
I think the feeling will be a little bit more, a little bit bigger, a little bit more meaningful than accomplished.
Mm,
Um, I'll feel happy, proud,
mm.
excited. Um, a lot of those feelings.
Oh, wow. Wow. So if you know that this book can help people, and you know that you're going to be impacting and changing people's lives, then how much do you owe it to people to get it out there?
Mm, a great deal. I feel like
Mm,
now that you said that and put it in that perspective, and just hearing that is like, man, okay, you can't stall anymore. Like you
mm,
can't wait anymore, because by waiting, by stalling, look how many people are going without that tool to help them, reach their
mm,
financial goals. That's huge, right?
mm.
You
Yeah.
just said
Yeah.
that, man. The
Mm,
conversation just got deep.
mm. Yes.
Oh man.
And it's yeah, great, great. So we got a result. We're moving towards the result now, and I look forward to hearing more about the adventures.
Someone on
Awesome.
Facebook said that they're encouraged. They're writing a book as well.
Yeah,
I haven't started. We'll start. That's what we're talking about
yeah,
tonight.
yeah, absolutely. And please follow us on our other workshops. We're doing this every Wednesday on topics. This is the last procrastination one we're doing. Do you want to tell the audience what we're doing next week, Loretta?
I am so, so excited, especially now that I'm out of the hot seat, to share with you guys that we're talking about how to. What are we talking about, David? I got so excited, I forgot.
Uh, we're talking about how to avoid burnout.
Avoid burnout.
Uh,
Yes, yes.
uh,
I
yeah,
think that's huge, especially for me. Like, oh, that was
yeah,
funny. You're gonna laugh at that. Somebody said, "Laugh my butt off." Good. I totally forgot. Like, you know how you just get so excited. I'm like, oh my
yeah.
god, drum roll,
I
blank.
know,
Okay,
I know.
but
It's uh, it's it it's a
that's
it's a big
huge.
it's a big topic, isn't it? It's a big topic. Anyone out there is watching, please just share it with your friends and family, colleagues, because we want to give practical, applicable tips for you every week, and real life situations where we can apply it. And please leave comments. That's what we want. We want to serve you, and then we
Absolutely,
can, we can spread the joy, the love in this world by just helping each other. So we're looking to do that. Yes, looking to do that. Wow, this has flown again. Wow.
oh wow. All right, guys, we're not going to stay on here too much longer. If you missed what David talked about today, he talked about procrastination and he gave a few good tips. He talked about keeping yourself accountable and ways that you can keep yourself accountable by making it known on Facebook or social media platforms, kind of like how we did tonight. He, he also talked about chunking your time, and just breaking that down to smaller bite-sized pieces of time where it's more conducive to your schedule. So
Mm,
versus setting aside 2 hours to do something, try setting
mm,
aside like 15 minutes or 30 minutes to do something.
mm.
So I think the key there is just building that consistency, really.
Yeah,
I think that's
yeah,
the biggest thing.
awesome.
Well, all right. Thank you, David. Thank you as
Thank you,
always.
Loretta.
I'll see you next week.
See you
We'll
next
talk
week.
about we'll talk about how to avoid burnout.
Yeah.
I remember.
Awesome. Nice to see you. And everyone out there, thanks for joining us tonight.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye bye.